Moy is sick. Thank you.
Thank you. Our invocation this evening will be presented by Lieutenant Andrew Flockhart of the Salvation Army. Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity, and would you join me in prayer? Our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day that you've made, God, and thank you for this opportunity to gather here today. God, that we ask that you give us your wisdom today as we meet, God. Give us your guidance in both our decisions and our speech today, God. Open our ears to hear with open minds, God. Let our speech be uplifting and life-giving and glorifying to you, God. And through all of this, God, help us to remember those who don't have a voice. God, help us to speak in a place of mercy and grace and power for those in our community, God. God, we just ask that you bless our community, God. Bless its people, bless its workers, its leaders, and this assembly, God. May this all be glorifying to you. We pray this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. And the Pledge of Allegiance, Councilmember Panduro, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So we will now move to council reports. Councilmember Panduro, would you like to start?
Sure. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. I just had a few things to report on, actually a couple. So first, I attended, so in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, the ARC, or the Adult Rec Center, so it's just up the street here behind us. It had they have these really fun lunches, and so last week they had a Mexican fiesta lunch at the Adult Rec Center, so myself and Councilmember Tonneson attended, and it was really awesome. I want to thank eXp Realty of California for sponsoring, and the Parks and Rec Department for always doing an amazing job with the luncheons. The next one is in October for Halloween, so it is called the Spooktacular Luncheon. It's really fun. Everyone dresses up, and they even have a Halloween costume contest. I think last year Scott and I were the judges, and that was probably one of the hardest jobs we ever had, because everyone did such a great job coming out and dressing up and participating. On Saturday morning, I, along with various members of the PD, held one of our Adopt a Street cleanups on North Texas. So I just want to thank everyone that came out to help us clean up North Texas. We meet at the PAL Center when we do hold them, and then we divide up from there. Our next one is scheduled for October the 4th, and so if any of my colleagues would like to join, that'd be awesome, just to pick up some trash along North Texas. And then I am working on, along with Parks and Rec, for a Dia de los Muertos event. So more to come on that. It'll probably be happening starting like Wednesday the 29th, and it'll go through November the 2nd. So we're super excited to again host a Dia de los Muertos event here in the city. So I'll be sharing more information about that soon. And then I sit along with Councilmember Doug Carr on our homeless committee, so it's called the JPA Homeless Committee. So there's 2 individuals from every city that sit on this committee, and it's around homelessness. And so we meet, and so I just want to share out some information around that topic. So the next Homeless Outreach Partnership event, or HOPE, will be on October the 8th at Willow Hall. I don't know if there's flyers in the back, but it looks like this, and there'll be a lot of information and community resources for individuals. It's also on our website. The next Homeless Roundtable is scheduled for November the 12th, and we'll be focusing on veteran homelessness. And you can reach out to our Homeless Service Division to receive an invitation, and that's hsd@fairfield.ca.gov. Housing First Solano Continuum of Care's next board meeting is tomorrow, September 17th, via Zoom from 10 a.m. to 12. And the website for that and more information is www.housingfirstsolano.org. And then like I shared, I sit on the Capilano JPA, and our next meeting for that is next Thursday, September 25th at 6:30, and it's over at the Event Center in front of the county building at 601 Texas Street in the conference room A. And this is open to the public, so anyone that's interested around the homeless community or the homeless population, the houseless population, can come and learn about what the county is doing, what the JPA is doing around this population. And then the second community engagement meeting for the Vista Ridge Permanent Supportive Housing is tomorrow, Wednesday, September 17th, from 5 to 7 p.m. in Willow Hall. And you can go to www.fairfield.ca.gov/Vista Ridge for more information. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Tonneson.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Just a quick report tonight. We had the compost giveaway this Saturday at Dunhill Park, or the Peacock Park. This is the 5th year. Shout out to Corey Beavers and crew. Solano Garbage Republic Services was out there too. This is the 5th year, and they do it twice a year, and that compost is gone. They have 2 big, huge dumpsters. They started at 9 o'clock. There's people that are lining up at 7:30 to get the compost, but it's been an extremely successful event, and I just wanted to give a shout out to those involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I have a few things to report tonight. So I'm really interested in manufacturing in the city of Fairfield. So in that vein, Cordelia Industrial Park is in the Cordelia Green Valley area, and I've also have reported before going to the producers to kind of check out their setup, which was pretty awesome on Red Top Road. But in the vein of manufacturing in the city of Fairfield, I did a ride-along with Councilmember Scott Tonneson, and really value your background in the Planning Commission for all those years. And so because of that, we're going to set up a tour for just desserts. And also there is a tour being set up for Tricor Bronze that is in, I feel like I'm hearing some echoing. How's that? Is that better? Okay. Thank you. Also, the city of Fairfield is already working on something surrounding manufacturing during Manufacturing Week in October. The city of Fairfield is working in partnership with Solano EDC, Economic Development, in Fairfield, and they are having a panel breakfast at the Logistics Center October 16th from 8 to 10 a.m., and that's going to be located at 2140 Cordelia Road in Fairfield. Switching gears, last week I met with the Cordelia Library Teen Advisory Committee, and this is 16 plus young adults that are involved in library programming in Cordelia Library. And I really appreciate them inviting me to come speak to them. I talked to them about city government, how the government works, how they should be involved, and what they think. And then I also kind of turned the mic to them, and I said, what do you need to thrive and to survive and to feel like, you're this your young adults getting ready to adulthood? What do you need from adults? And what they said is that they need mentorship, and they need internship opportunities. So I just wanted to share that with the community to see how, we can, as small business owners, I see powerful nonprofits in the room, and of course we're the government, how we can provide more mentorship, more internship to our young adults. And then they made, and I thought they loved me, and then they made a request to meet Trustee Anna Patero. So I'll be making that introduction, but that was a pretty awesome thing that I did last week. And finally, I wanted to mention that I am having a meet and greet at that same Cordelia Library at 5050 Business Center Drive in Fairfield this Saturday, that's September 20th, from 10 to 12 noon. I'll be bringing coffee and water and snacks and myself, and I would love for you all to come by and say hi. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Sandu, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, would
No
you like to
report.
give us your report, please?
No report, Madam Vice Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I too will forego my report this evening. We have a pretty robust agenda before us this evening, and so I will, forgo my report and just remind our presenters to please keep your presentations as precise and on point as possible so we can get through this evening exponentially. Mr. City Manager, your report.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. My only report is that item M2 on your agenda tonight, which was a mobile food vendor ordinance, that item is continued till your council meeting on October 21st, so we will not be hearing that item tonight. That's my report.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, your report, please.
I have no report, thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, your report.
Thank you. Sorry. I just wanted to mention that it is Constitution Week. National Constitution Week is an annual week-long observance in the United States, starting on September 17th, and it ends on September 23rd. And it commemorates the signing of the U.S. Constitution in 1787. And then I also wanted to mention that today is National IT Professionals Day, and our IT department is the best, and they are deserving of recognition. And that's my report. Thank you.
I agree with that, yes.
Thank you very much. Now we turn to presentations. Madam Clerk.
Yes, the first presentation, proclamation and poem declaring National Hispanic Heritage Month, and it will be presented by Councilmember Doris Panduro, and our poet laureate, Michael Wiley, who's a professor at Solano College, will read the poem after the proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on up. So everyone, this is the Puente program from Solano Community College, and so I've asked them to receive. You guys are amazing. Thanks for all showing up. Wow, awesome. Yeah, so they are the Puente program from Solano Community College, and Rebecca and Isabel are the choral coordinators, and so they'll share a little bit more about the program itself and what they do at the college. And I'll share a little bit why I decided to give this to them, because I hold this program near and dear to my heart. So I wrote a little something just to stay on track. So this year's Hispanic Heritage Month theme is Collective Heritage, honoring the past and inspiring the future. This theme highlights the shared history and accomplishments of the Hispanic and Latino communities, emphasizing their unique voices, journeys, and ongoing impact in shaping the future. And talking about impact and inspiring the future, we have the Puente program from Solano College who will be accepting this resolution. In short, they prepare students to take their next steps in their academic journeys by offering campus tours, scholarship assistance, community mentors, but most importantly, a comunidad that supports one another. I have been involved with Puente as a supporter and mentor for over a decade. It is a program I care about because I have seen firsthand the difference it makes in students' lives. Thank you to Rebecca and Isabel, who have done an amazing job with the program and with the students. I have attended several events put on by the program, and each one leaves me so inspired and hopeful. Rebecca y Isabel, gracias por su pasión y dedicación a nuestros jóvenes y sus futuros. And so now I will read the proclamation. Whereas each year Americans observe National Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th through October 15th by celebrating the histories, cultures, and contributions of American citizens whose ancestors came from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, Central and South America. And whereas the observation started in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week under President Lyndon Johnson and was expanded in 1988 by President Ronald Reagan to cover the entire month. It was enacted into law on August 17, 1988, on the approval of Public Law 100-402. And whereas September 15th is significant because it is the anniversary of independence for the Latin American countries of Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. In addition, Mexico and Chile celebrate their Independence Day today on September 16th and 18th, so que viva Mexico for anyone that's here. And whereas in 2025, Latinos are projected to be the largest ethnic group in California, making up 42% of the state's population. This represents a significant increase from 38% in 2013. More than 33,500 of these residents live here in Fairfield, representing 33% of the population. A diverse group with roots throughout Latin America and beyond, many Hispanic Californians also trace their heritage to the original indigenous communities of Latin America and Africa. During National Hispanic Heritage Month, we honor and recognize all in the Hispanic community who helped to build our state and city. They are our teachers, business owners, council members, scientists, soldiers, farm workers, first responders, artists, activists, colleagues, and friends. Hispanic Californians make valuable contributions to our neighborhoods, communities, and every sector of the economy. We are a more excellent and vibrant place because of them. Now, therefore, Catherine Cat Moy, Mayor of the City of Fairfield, proclaims September 15th through October 15, 2025 as National Hispanic Heritage Month with the 2025 theme, Collective Heritage, Honoring the Past, Inspiring the Future, recognizing the significant achievements of the Hispanic community in economic and political industries. Thank you.
Thank you, Doris, and the City of Fairfield. We're honored to accept this proclamation. I wanted to mention just a little bit about what the Puente program is. Our mission is to increase the number of underserved students who go on to earn degrees and then return to their communities as leaders and mentors. And we're inspired every day by our students who are standing behind me here. They're the reason that we're here, and we are just incredibly proud of them. I would like to introduce and to bring up mi colega, my colleague at Solano College, and one of our Puente graduates, Carolina Rodriguez, who will say a few words about the Puente program.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. City Council members, thank you for having me today here. So I just want to talk a little bit about my experience within Puente. By the way, born and raised in Fairfield, so it's an honor to be here tonight. And so let me introduce myself. My name is Carolina Rodriguez, and I am a Solano Community College alumna, currently working for outreach for the college, and I'm also a Puentista. As a first-generation college student, navigating the world of higher education often felt like stepping into unfamiliar territory. I was filled with moments of doubt about whether I truly belonged. That all shifted when I joined the Puente program. Puente didn't just offer academic support, it opened doors to spaces I never imagined I'd have access to. It gave me a familia within the education system, a community that saw potential in me even when I struggled to see it myself. The relationships that I built through Puente have been long-lasting and deeply meaningful. They became my foundation, my support system, and my inspiration. In 2015, I attended a Puente conference that would be a turning point in my life. There, I was elected as a Northern California representative, a role that I never thought I could hold, because before Puente, I believed leadership was reserved for the most outspoken voices. I didn't know that quiet strength, empathy, and authenticity could also lead. Puente challenged that belief. It nurtured my confidence, pushed me out of my comfort zone, and helped me discover the leader within. Today, I stand on this podium as a Puente mentor, UCLA alumna, not just to share my story, but to honor the program that helped shape it. I am grateful beyond words for Puente, for the opportunities, the growth, and the courage it gave me to lead and to believe in myself. And to Rebecca and Isabel, thank you. Thank you for bringing Puente to life and transforming lives through your continuous support. Your impact doesn't go unnoticed, and I want to thank you all for letting me share my story with you. Thank you.
Okay. And we do want Michael to read the poem. Do you want to take the photo first, or? Okay. Michael, you should get in there, too.
Also a professor. Do you guys want to go in the well? Oh, yeah, that might be a little easier.
Yeah, that might be easier. Thank you. And now we'll hear from our poet laureate, Michael Wiley.
All right, thank you. As poet laureate, it's my honor to honor the many voices and stories that shape our city. The poem I will share today is written, at least in a form inspired by the ofrenda. And in this poem, the ofrenda becomes a way of celebrating memory, endurance, and vision. It is offered in gratitude, in solidarity, and with deep respect. An ofrenda for Fairfield. Adorn its first tier in sacred memories. Orchards at dusk netted in shifting light, the honey-thick scent of pears and peaches, leafy footprints of squash, late summer grapes like threaded beads. Our memory is lifted by calloused hands, those who nourished us, who amplified Chavez's bullhorned calls, who chanted Huertes si se puede. It gathers in delta winds that carry through kitchen windows where peppers and cornmeal sing on the comal. Winds woven into the tolling bells of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, enduring in the thunderous wake of Travis jets, their song still resounding through Fairfield. The second tier is an offering of endurance, one carried in the glow of steamed windows at a panaderia, the scent of bread ushering neighbors inside. It's heard in the shifting cadences of Spanish and English at a grocery on West Texas, and in the clack of shutters lifted on downtown storefronts. Our endurance gathers at Octo and the cheers of family as the ball drums across the field. It's in the drift of barbecue smoke at Witt. It's a shop window open late on Webster, the steady hum of a sewing machine at the kitchen table, the return from a shift at North Bay to a meal shared, that homeward migration to joy, to hope, to love. At the top of this ofrenda, we dedicate vision. Teachers leading students at Armio, a line-by-line sketch that resolves into a bloom of graduation caps in June. Our vision gathers in marching bands at Fairfield and Rodriguez, a chorus of possibility. It shines in scholars at Solano College, gathered to debate history and science, rehearsing our future in real time. And along Oliver, new storefronts open, once scribbled plans now etched into our streetscape, each voice a cornerstone, each language a bridge, our families, our friends, our neighbors, guiding Fairfield, our city still rising. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. That was beautiful. And then just to close out this section, I have a student here that wants to share some information. So introduce yourself and then say what you would like to share.
Yes, hi, my name is Erwin. I am a Puentista at Solano College, and I just want to make an announcement that Solano College Puente Project and Puente Club is organizing a Banda Night on October 10th, next month on a Friday from 5 to 9, and it's open to the community to enjoy, so we're inviting all of you to come celebrate with us. And yeah, bring your family and friends. Yes, thank you.
Okay, the Little League asked if they could go last, so we're going to switch it up. So our next proclamation will be the proclamation declaring North Bay Healthcare Neonatal Intensive Care Unit Day, presented by Councilmember Williams. Thank you. Let me call up, we have Katie Lyden, the Vice President and Service Line, Paul McGinty, Chief Experience Officer and President of North Bay Health Foundation, Brian Montenegro, NICU Medical Director, and Megan Anderson, NICU Manager. Thank you.
Hi there. Welcome. Welcome to City Council.
Yes.
Celebrating North Bay Health's prenatal intensive care unit's 40th anniversary. Whereas the year of 2025 marks the 40th anniversary of North Bay Health's neonatal intensive care unit, NICU, and it's fitting at this time that North Bay and its NICU receive recognition and commendation for their life-saving care and lasting impact on the families and communities they serve. Whereas North Bay Health, established in 1960, holds the distinction of Solano County's only locally based and locally managed nonprofit healthcare organization. Through North Bay Medical Center in Fairfield and North Bay Vaca Valley Hospital in Vacaville, it provides 24-hour emergency care, intensive care, and advanced surgical and diagnostic services. And whereas since the opening of NICU in 1985, with only 3 beds, North Bay Health has expanded its unit to 16 beds, now caring for an average of 8 babies each day and approximately 180 babies a year. The NICU is staffed by a devoted team of physicians, nurses, support staff, many of whom have been caring for North Bay families for more than 40 years. Whereas North Bay Health is dedicated to cultivating excellence through training and education. Every new NICU nurse completes 6 months of intensive care preparation, including lectures and mentorship from experienced nurses before beginning their work. Ongoing training emphasizes infant stabilization, use of specialized equipment, respiratory support, transporting and reviving infants from other hospitals, and advanced simulation training in both the NICU and North Bay Health's simulation lab. And whereas by combining innovation, expertise, and compassionate care, North Bay Health's NICU has earned a reputation for the excellence in quality health care, patient experience, and professional practice, making it a source of pride for the city of Fairfield, Solano County, and the greater region. So on behalf of Catherine Moy, Mayor of the City of Fairfield, hereby proclaiming recognition of North Bay Health's NICU on the occasion of its 40th anniversary, commend the physicians, nurses, staff, and supporters who have ensured its success and express profound gratitude for the compassionate and life-saving care that they have provided to generations of families in Fairfield, Solano County, and throughout the state of California.
Thank you very much, everybody. My name is Dr. Brian Montenegro. I'm a newborn intensive care doctor here locally in Solano County. And let me just back up and explain what a newborn intensive care doctor does. And I often explain this to people in my own hospital because it's a very unique thing. I take care of babies who are healthy, which is a pleasure to do, but for the most part, I take care of babies who are born sick for a variety of reasons, some of which are bad luck, some of which are tragic. I also take care of babies who are born early, and it could be weeks early, it could be months early. I would tell you how long it took to study to be able to do this, but it would take a while. You know, I'm the father of a 10-year-old boy who I've raised here in Solano County, and he, like a lot of kids these days, asks a lot of questions. As much as I try and shield him from YouTube, from Instagram, he still somehow gets to it and asks me interesting questions. And I love his questions. I get a range of questions from, of course, where do babies come from? How did they get there? Which, of course, my wife turned to me and said, that's all you. 2 months ago, while watching Sunday Night Football, he turns to me and he says, so what's your purpose in life? He caught me off guard, but I had an immediate answer because I've always known what my purpose in life is, and that's to make other people's lives better. Whether it's my son, whether it's my wife, whether it's the 10-year-old boys who I coach at soccer, or whether it's the babies who I take care of in North Bay. That's my purpose in life. It's a pleasure to do it. I am grateful to do it, and I appreciate everybody who allows me to do it. All the way from the other nurses who I work with, the doctors who I work with, the therapists, the social workers, the maintenance staff, the administrative staff, the executive staff. I hope I can continue to serve my community and keep taking care of those babies. Thank you.
I just got permission to hold babies. Thank you. Oh, I did a love note for you.
Thank you. Congratulations. And last but not least, we have the proclamation declaring National Little League Month presented by Vice Mayor Pam Bertani to Erica Leahy, President of the Fairfield Pacific Little League. And I think we have quite a crowd coming in.
Fairfield Little League in the house. Come on down. Let's go. Fairfield Little League. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on. Yeah, you can stand. You can be in the. Look at these outfits. Oh my goodness. Wow, this is beautiful.
Kids and parents, or just kids?
Make sure everybody can see these uniforms that are fantastic. Try to come out and get in front of this thing. Yeah, so everybody can see you. There we go, right? There we go.
Let's see, let's go stand over here.
Come on down. We have room for everyone. Very nice. Come on in. All right, is that it? Oh, no, we still got more coming in.
We're over here. We're over here.
Hey, come on down. There's room for everyone. Welcome to City Council Chambers, Fairfield Little League. And I'm going to ask for one thing right now, just on the strength of these uniforms. Can we give a hand of applause for these uniforms? I love them. Woo! All right. Everybody is looking strong and beautiful. Our future professional athletes of the world, they are here with us this evening. Welcome, everyone. So I have a proclamation here for National Little League Month, September 2025. Whereas Little League Baseball and softball, founded in 1939, has become the world's largest organized youth sports program. The world's largest organized youth sports program, serving millions of children each year by teaching the values of teamwork, sportsmanship, perseverance, and respect. And whereas the Fairfield Pacific Little League, established in 1961, has proudly served the youth of Fairfield for over 6 decades. Exactly, 60 years and counting, offering a safe and inclusive environment where children can develop not only baseball skills, but also lifelong character and community pride. And whereas the success of Little League in Fairfield is made possible by the tireless efforts of dedicated volunteers, coaches, parents, and community partners who give their time and energy to help our young athletes succeed on and off the field. Let's give it up for them. Let's give it up real quick. Volunteers, coaches, parents, community partners, we love you. Thank you. Couldn't do it without you. All right. And whereas National Little League Month in September provides an opportunity to celebrate the accomplishments of players, recognize the invaluable contributions of volunteers, and highlight the positive impact Little League has on families and neighborhoods across our city. And whereas the city of Fairfield is proud to recognize the importance of Little League as a cornerstone of youth development, fostering leadership, confidence, teamwork in future generations. Now, therefore, Mayor Catherine Catmoy, Mayor of the City of Fairfield, proclaims September 2025 as National Little League Month in the City of Fairfield, and the mayor encourages all residents to celebrate and support the mission and values of Little League baseball and softball. Ladies and gentlemen, do you see how orderly these young people are? Wow. That says so much. I am so proud to give you this proclamation to encourage all of, obviously, the wonderful parenting, coaching, volunteering that goes into getting a group this size to behave this way this long. You parents out there know what I'm talking about, right? So I'm impressed, 100%. You get an A+ today, 100% A+. Ladies and gentlemen, our Fairfield Little League, give them a round of applause. Now, I know we have a coach here who wants to say a word. Everybody's like, not me. Come on. Would anybody like to say a few words about your team? Your efforts? There you go.
Well, look, somebody's got to do it, and you really got to give it. You really got to give it to the kids here and their commitment to get out there. You know, having a long day at school, dealing with homework, and then going to the ball field. Sometimes not having any dinner before they get there. But when they do get home, they're surely hungry. But again, I appreciate all these young kids out here and the parents and what they do and volunteer. It's not easy. It is a big commitment, and hats off to y'all.
So why don't you swing around in there with the proclamation? Let's get everybody in for a minute.
Let's get it in there.
Thank you very much. Job well done. Yes. Stella wants to give us something. Okay. There you go. Thank you, Stella. Where is Stella? Stella, raise your hand. Hey, cutie. Outstanding. Thank you so. Look at that. Just thank you. Just well done. Everything well done. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Keep up the great work. It's pizza time.
What's your favorite pizza? Or maybe we're gonna have pizza. Well, we have Stella.
Cards for us.
Hold this. I have a bad hand.
So adorable. Our future is in good hands. You're doing more than trying. You're doing it. You're doing it. Believe that. All right. Well, that was exciting. That was fun.
I think that's the biggest group we've ever had.
Yeah. I remember those days. Little League. Ugh. A lot of work. A lot of work, but very well worth it. All right. Okay, let's resume. We'll just continue with our public comments. Madam Clerk?
Persons wishing to address the City Council on subjects not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the council may do so at this time. The council cannot discuss or take action on matters not on the agenda for this meeting, but council members may briefly respond to statements made or questions raised by the public, ask for clarification from staff, refer the matter to staff, request staff to report back to the council at a subsequent meeting, or place the matter on a future agenda. To speak on an agenda item, please use the raise your hand feature or press *9 on your phone if you're online. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes per item or as determined by the mayor. And I only have a few speaker cards.
All right.
First, we have Kevin Phillips, and to be followed by Leo Callejas. Is that correct? Sorry.
Good evening.
Good evening. Kevin Phillips, Archway Recovery Services. What a great day to be at the council meeting for these proclamations. My father died 5 years ago. My favorite picture that warms my heart the most, he was my Little League baseball coach. And we have a team picture, and he's in it, standing next to me when I was just a little guy. And that's, to this day, it's the warmest picture I have of my father. So what a wonderful day to be here. Last couple weeks ago, I shared with you the national survey on drug use and health. And I let you know that 16.8% of the people in Fairfield can be diagnosed with a substance use disorder. When you add the people in Fairfield who struggle with a mental health diagnosis, when you combine that with those who struggle with substance use disorder, the number goes up to 33%. 33% of our neighbors live with either a substance use disorder or a mental health diagnosis. That's 1 in 3 of the people that you see every day live with a substance use disorder or a mental health condition. I share that with you so that we can remember that whenever we're addressing issues in public that have to do with substance use disorder or mental health, we are either breaking down the stigma that prevents people from seeking help, or we're increasing it. And as leaders in our community, we want to create an environment that says Fairfield cares about our most vulnerable citizens. In every public meeting, we have a responsibility to frame issues in the kindest, most gentle way that we can, because there are people listening who are suffering. And we want to do whatever we can to encourage them to get the help they need. Council Member Williams, you mentioned organizations that are seeking mentors, youth mentors, young adult mentors. Archway Recovery Services is always seeking youth and young adult mentors. We've begun an initiative this year to begin a program. We're expanding our services to do substance use disorder prevention in our community, and we're centering it around building a youth and young adult advisory board.
You have 15 seconds, sir.
We are, and so please let young people everywhere know if they're looking for a mentor, if they're looking for guidance, please call Archway. We need their help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Leo Callejas, to be followed by Pastor Sam Morris.
Good evening, everyone. I do have notes I'm going to read off. My name is Leo Callejas. Good evening, Vice Mayor and council members and member staff and city members of the city. I am a board member of the Solano Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and our mission is to promote business development, education, and advocacy for our small businesses in the county. And today I want to share some programs that we have. Hopefully some of you can help us share with the communities. The first one is our Future Leader Scholarships. Our applications are open. These are $1,000 scholarships for high school seniors and college freshmen in Solano County. And then the second scholarship opportunities are our business advancement scholarships. Business who is a member of the chamber will receive $2,500, which in this economy, I'm sure it will help businesses. Both scholarship applications are open now, and they will close on October 3rd. So we appreciate, and only the 51st applications will be taken. So appreciate the communication on that, or help communicating. Couple more things. One is our Hispanic Impact Conference will be on October 3rd in Vacaville. This is a bilingual event focused on procurement access, meaning government contracts, local government, state, local, and state and federal, and also access to capital, right? So helping business connect with ways to get access to capital hopefully for some of those contracts. And last but not least, our Latin Flair Gala with the theme Havana Nights will be November 8th. This is the main fundraising of the chamber. Hopefully some of you can join us. Tickets are on sale. And these gala help us fundraise scholarships for students for next year. In closing, these are initiatives that are about more than celebrating. They are about education, opportunity, and inclusion for Fairfield's diverse community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Pastor Sam Morris.
Hi, Pastor Sam.
Hello, how y'all doing? All right, it's good to see all of you, Mr. Gasaway, Mr. Lim, Ms. Fortani, Ms. Banduro, Mr. Townsend, Ms. Williams, and Ms. Reeves. I just come before you today not to say a whole lot, but I wanted to just make an announcement that tomorrow is important for us. I mean, our ministry, we are honoring our police and Fire Department. So I think that we don't do enough for our chief, Dan Marshall. I think is exceptional leader, along with John Sturdy. And tomorrow we're cooking breakfast for the entire force for both at 2100 Pennsylvania Avenue. And so as I tossed and turned last night, I said I probably should invite City Council to come out and eat too. So I got some flyers for you. I'm gonna give to you right now.
And while he's giving these flyers, let me say that when Bay North cooks, I mean they cook. Like, for real. Yeah. The real stuff.
And since I have so much bacon, I was looking.
Wait,
Our
what?
team is there tonight, so they're taking this really, really serious. So we just want to give a special shout out to both of our first responders. They do an excellent job here serving our city. I've never felt more safe when I look at the hills, and they're all manicured now, and all of the different preventative things that we've taken to secure the safety of everybody that lives here. And so that's what it's about tomorrow, and that's all I want to say. You can come by and get some bacon tonight.
Thank you, Pastor. All right, do we have any more?
Did anyone else wish to speak?
Comments? Okay.
And there are no hands raised.
Seeing
online.
none, let's go to the consent calendar, Madam Clerk.
Consent calendar, all matters listed on the consent calendar are to be approved with one motion unless a member of the City Council or the public requests that separate action be taken on a specific item. And Councilmember Williams did say she wanted to pull item K8.
Okay. Item A8.
So I will read that. Item K8, Resolution 2025-182, Public-Private Partnership Agreement, or Amendment, authorizing the city manager to execute the Second Amendment of the Public-Private Partnership Agreement for Advanced Life Support First Responder Emergency Services by and among the cities of Fairfield, Benicia, Dixon, Vallejo, and Sassoon City, member cities, and Medic Ambulance Service Incorporated. And
Thank you. I'm assuming,
she's just telling me that was not the right. Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So that item is not pulled from the, is anything pulled from the consent calendar? I'll take a motion on approving the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. And we will vote on approving the consent calendar now.
Where'd she go?
Sorry, I need someone to move in second first.
I moved it. Oops.
Roll call.
And then open to voting.
Yeah.
And now I'll open to voting.
And Madam Clerk, because we have Councilmember Sandu appearing via video, this has to be roll call. All votes need to be roll call vote tonight.
Okay.
So, City Attorney, there won't be any more voting online?
Not tonight, no.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, roll call vote. Madam Clerk?
Okay. Sorry, I lost my place. Okay. Member Panduro?
Yes.
Member Santu?
Yes.
Member Tonneson?
Aye.
And Member Williams?
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Bertoni?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Did you get Menvir?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that takes us into new business, and we will turn to item L1. Madam Clerk?
Item L1, discussion and direction regarding rental housing safety program. And our presenter is Police Manager Jeremy Prophet.
Welcome, Jeremy.
Good evening, Madam Vice Mayor and Council. Real quick, before I get into this, I want to plug National Night Out is October 7th. Yes, not forget National Night Out, October 7th. It's almost October, so 5 to 8 p.m. So, good evening. Tonight I'll be going over a continuation from the retreat we had at the end or beginning of this year called the Rental Housing Safety Program. Whoa, that's not. It's not showing. 1 second. Okay. One second. Perfect. There we go. So what is the goal of this program? Again, the goal of this program is to the purpose of the program is rental housing safety to ensure everyone and the residents in our community can feel safe and confident about the conditions of their home. This program proactively addresses health and safety issues in multifamily housing, such as infestations, tenant compliance, building code violations, housing code deficiencies, and so forth. The importance of this program is to protect the health and safety of our community, hold property owners accountable, respond more efficiently, oh, sorry, too loud, respond more efficiency. So this program could also include some of our challenges that we face in the community, such as our boarding care homes. We've faced a lot of issues. This rental housing program could help address some of those concerns that we've had. Halfway houses as well. Rental housing could include that as we move forward. As the city continues to grow, we also are managing a older population of houses being maintained throughout the city. So code enforcement responds to quite a few issues of housing-related nuisances for upkeep and maintenance. Most common violations, as you see, this is rarely common, unfortunately. Unpermitted construction, missing non-functional smoke detectors, faulty mechanical appliances, faulty weather protection, faulty plumbing, junk and debris. Unfortunately, we're finding more and more hoarding situations, which is a mental health crisis as well. I currently probably have 12 to 15 hoarding cases currently on our caseload with code enforcement. Mold and mildew damage and just general deficiencies. Just as of this month, the county noticed code enforcement that they will be not responding starting January of 2026 to housing-related issues, so insufficient housing-related problems that we usually partner with the county. They're responding to some state legislation saying that they're going to start deferring that to the code enforcement of city jurisdictions. So that would put a heartache on us as well with staffing, budget, and so forth. How old are some of our rental housing? So if you see this graph above from the 1980s, about 33% of our housing market out there is around 1980s. 1980 to 1999 is 37%, and 2000 to 2024 is about 30%. So our core focus over here, housing that is over 45 years of age, you see that's a lot of housing out there that is kind of left unchecked. And the concern that we see and the most common issue trying to address these issues as code enforcement is most of these owners don't live here in Fairfield, which is a problem. They don't hear about these issues or deficiencies until code enforcement steps in, and we put them on notice that there's some problems because they live out of the area. We don't. A lot of our residents on the east side of town, without giving neighborhoods, they live in substandard housing owned by people that don't live in Fairfield, and there's no recourse to help support those. And now that the county is looking to step aside, there's even less resources. So that is put back into our code enforcement unit. So thanks to Ryan. If you don't know Ryan, she's in our admin/finance unit. She dug into a lot of the numbers to help us find these numbers that I'm sharing with you today. So Fairfield rental housing program will encompass apartments defined as 3+ units at one property and individual properties owned who rent 2 or more units, if that makes sense. So if you own 2 homes, 2 duplexes, this would fall under the rental housing program. So 2 or more separate properties, or 3+ rentals on one property, if that makes sense. So looking at those numbers, and again, thanks to Ryan, the total number of rental units that are 3+ apartments are 8,936 rental units. Total number of rental units with 2+ owned properties that are renting are 476. So the total numbers as of today's date, and this could be a few more, is 9,412 units. So there's 2 programs that we're looking at. Is a based program that would be all these rentals programs that are outside of 5 years or younger would participate in the base program, which is mandatory enrollment into the program. And then there will be the secondary program, which is self-certification. So any rental houses or rental apartments that are 5 years and younger, new developments, would be able to do self-certification, and we'd certify and inspect about 10% of those units. This is also done at a lower rate cost. So the annual program fee for the 9,412 units potentially would be $135 per unit, and self-certification will be $65 per unit. Why is there different numbers there? There's less staffing time needed to complete self-certification, and there's more staffing time needed to do the full, because that means we'd have to inspect 100% of the units and write reports for 100% of those inspections. So our hourly rate, based off of a fee study for code enforcement inspection, is $250, just to give you comparison. There's also, like any other ordinance, there's an annual base program late fee. So if they're late, there'll be fines assessed on top of that. As you all know, we're honored to continue to develop and find more housing. So there's potentially 8 multi-unit housing developments in the pipeline. There's a development, I forget the name, that potentially is going to be about 200 duplex units that are just coming on par. Those would be included. So there's a lot of construction still coming to Fairfield that would be impacted by this. They would be part of the self-certification program because they're brand new, they're younger than 5 years. So again, a lot of the information that we dove into, again, thanks to Ryan, was looking at county records, city records, in trying to put all this together. Those are how we came up with those numbers. Those are honest, true numbers. I would say that's on the conservative side with the almost 10,000 units. I think there's more than that out there, but these were fact-checked, looking at, these are rental properties matching with county records, and so forth, looking at apartment records. So rental properties, 4+ units, are required to have business license. This is one area that we're in deficiency with the city. I would say we really don't have an accurate number of percentage who's even paying business license because we're not tracking that. So this program will help bring them into compliance. So apartments should be paying business license, they're not. We're also looking at, I would like to add to the code, anybody that owns or operates rental properties 2 or more in the city, they should have a business license. They're in it for the money, they're not in it for just to help. They're in it for a profit business, so they should be paying a business license. So here we're looking at credits and debits. So this annual registration fee, potentially for the 8,936 units that are out there at $135 per unit, is about $1,206,360. For 2+ properties owned and operated for rentals in the city, which is about 476, at $35 a unit is $64,260. The numbers could fluctuate as we get newer properties online. They're going to be at the $65 per rate, but a lot of these homes, as you've seen by my data in the beginning, they're 45 years and older, so bulk of our current homes fall outside of that self-certification. And just to kind of dig into the numbers, this is a monumental task for our code enforcement to jump into. As you've seen, we're almost to 10,000 units. So we're looking at this program. You would pay annual fees but we would have to inspect all of these locations and give us a 3-year window. The reason why I said a 3-year window is because there's no way we could inspect 10,000 homes in 1 year. So a 3-year window, I broke that down to look at numbers. So if we did a 3-year window, that's approximately 10,000 units. Over 3 years, we'd have to inspect 3,334 units a year. With 4 code enforcement officers, we could break that down into 834 units inspected a year. If we broke that down into months, that's about 69 units a month that need to be inspected. And then I even broke it down to about 17 units a week should be inspected. And I'll talk about staffing here shortly. So debits. So the staffing, there's no way we could do this with current staffing. As you all know by emails and phone calls, we are struggling to stay afloat. That's just because there's 3 to 4 of us to a population of 120,000 plus. And we really pride ourselves to getting things done on a timely fashion. It's just not possible with the current staffing. So we have to be creative. So we're looking at this rental housing program to not only increase the quality of life and folks that are living in substandard housing, but also to bulk our code enforcement unit. And the reason why I broke it down to about 17 houses per week is I want to show you that after our team gets a handle of the first initial launch of this program, we want to use those staffing to address other code enforcement needs as well. So not just rental housing, but there's always all those other issues that pop up throughout the city on private property that we have to address. So the goal is how can we have the staff to manage this massive program, but also over the next 3 years, settle it down, get a better understanding, and have multiple code enforcement officers to respond to more quality of life issues from businesses to our community throughout. So again, getting into this, I'm looking at requesting staffing. So 3 code enforcement officers, 1 code enforcement senior, and an admin person. So the senior and admin person, due to the budget crisis, we froze those positions some time ago. So I don't have an admin person in the code enforcement unit. And I don't have a senior because we froze that position due to budget staffing issues. So what I'm requesting is to unfreeze those positions and add 3 more code enforcement officers, which would be a total of 4 code enforcement and 1 admin to the team of our current 4 staffing. What that cost looks like is, so we broke that down. So about $100,000 in additional cost coverage for abatement, attorney fees. Unfortunately, code enforcement is expensive. I spend entirely too much time with David Lim and his team. And then vehicle assets. So we're looking at $33,704 a year for all 4 vehicles that we request in annual maintenance and fuel costs. So that's factored into upkeep of the vehicles, routine maintenance, fuel that it costs to run those vehicles. The total cost annually, this is not including, and I'll get into that, is $930,669. That is just staff, and that is also the annual fuel and the miscellaneous billing, posting, and software cost, which is $7,500. We'll have a one-time, what I like to call is a startup fee. This is upfront cost that we would have to pay to acquire the staffing, all the needs to start this up, which is $329,536. What does that include? So 4 vehicles, fully equipped with all the safety equipment, everything that you need, as $311,936. That's a one-time cost. That will not be every year. There's also a one-time cost to get folks hired, training, equipment, vests, all the stuff that we have to keep our staff safe. That's about $17,600. So our first year annual cost will be high because it's like starting up any business, is $1,260,205. And then future cost was CPI of 3%. So staffing, it costs more to run the team and so forth, would be $958,590. That's again with a 3% CPI. That's just a basic number I threw out there. So our first year total credits. So if we're going to spend $1,260,205, our first year credits we're forecasting $1,270,620. And you're probably asking, how do we get this money? Because sometimes we have not been good at getting money. We have a plan for that. So How do we collect? So that doing research and talking to a lot of different cities, there's two options we could go with. We could go with an annual, applying these to our annual county tax records. So everybody has to pay taxes twice a year on your homes and your rental properties. We could put it through the county if we go into an agreement and we collect those on their tax bill, if that makes sense. So there's also city staff that it would be more time intensive, would be the police department sending out bills, sending out statements, and collecting that independently like we have using data ticket through our admin citations. That's another avenue that we could collect these funds. So the fee, I talked about 138. I kind of gave you guys a summary, and I'm happy to share an updated list as of today, thanks to Ryan again. This is a, pass that down there for me. This is an estimate from other cities of how much they're charging per unit or per duplex and so forth. There's a variety of different ways of charging these unit fees, but there's also hidden costs. So some of these programs that are charging $60, like Berkeley, also charges an inspection fee on top of that $60. So it may be $60 times 10,000 units, but when they go out and do an inspection, they charge another additional 100+ fee. The models that we liked is just a one-time upfront fee. There's no additional charges, meaning we'd come out, the inspection is part of the cost up front. Now, if we have to go back a second and third time, there would be an additional inspection fee. So first we'd go out and inspect. We'd find a deficiency. We would come back and say, have you corrected that deficiency? That was part of the cost in the original fees. The third visit, there would be an additional $250 or whatever the inspection fee is, because we've now been out there 3 times to resolve an issue. Very standard in code enforcement to add that on, but we wanted to give, because people are paying, we wanted to give them 2 opportunities. So first inspection, second follow-up, oh, it's great, it's fixed. If it's not, the third inspection would be additional fee by staff because they've now gone out there 3 or 4 times. So how can these properties opt out? There's a few different ways. If they're not true rental housing, you say it's a family member, they're not paying rent, they're staying at additional location. If they could show that they're not part of the rent, they're not transaction money, so they're not being transaction to stay there, then they would be able to opt out. We're still looking through requests, inspections. This is currently what we have on hand, but we're looking at better ways to manage and track this. Is the My Fairfield app. We also have code enforcement software that we currently have that we could start setting up and tracking and managing complaints through that as well. That's currently within our software that we have on site, which is through a software company called CitizenServe, and then Data Ticket is the collection side of that. We're also exploring, talking with economic development, building, and so forth. Is it possible to look at the module through Build? What I'm trying to prevent is any programs or softwares that want to cut of the services for doing the work for us. We don't want to contract this work. We're in the business of serving our community. We're not in the business of outsourcing it because we're trying to collect a quick buck, and then now we have to share 70% of those fees. That does not help. There is software companies out there that they do it all, but you're not serving your community that well, so I discourage contracting these services and looking at vendors that would pay, they would get 70, 35, 40% of the fee because they will manage everything for you, if that makes sense. Again, some of the community safety concerns, obviously, every cannabis house we go to is a rental house, so they say. Reduce code enforcement calls for service. Eventually, we like to expand this to hotel motels because folks are renting hotel motels. We have a few in the city that are not good business partners that we want to address, but we're going to start with the first phase through rental housing and apartments, and we'll look to expand through hotel motel, short-term rentals. These are some of the cities that we reached out and spoke to or visited. So what I'm asking tonight is direction from council. The next step would be looking and reviewing ordinances and resolutions to draft all the rules and conditions. What I want to be clear is there is a process. So we don't just randomly knock on doors. There will be a notice process. This will be all spelled out in the ordinance of basically our policies and procedures, what we can and can't do. So we will notify the public. within so many days, and I don't have all the details just because we haven't drafted an ordinance or resolution on this yet, but there'll be notice to the property owner and the owners of the rental property. So it's not just a random knock on door. Everybody has their rights. So there's notices. They'll have to put things in their leases that says they're part of the program. So there'll be a lot of forward education, so there's not a surprise knock from code enforcement. Now, there will be opportunities for residents to report issues, and then we could follow up on their behalf on reporting issues. So they want to report, there's mold or different issues. I have leaks that are being unchecked. We could follow up on those types of things with this program included. But basically what I'm asking from council is direction on, do we want to craft an ordinance and a resolution, start educating the community what this program brings, educating the business owners what their responsibilities are as well. And
Thank you, Jeremy. Colleagues, comments? Excuse me?
I don't have any speaker cards. Did anyone want to speak about
Thank
this?
you.
Oh, John Takuchi?
Yeah, John Takuchi. I hadn't looked at this item in detail, but it seems to me, let me ask a question, Mr. Prophet. When City Church was inspected, what triggered that?
There was violations reported to code enforcement, so we followed up and inspected it.
Okay. Couldn't that be used for, let's say, infringement or problems with rental housing?
It won't address the staffing needs, no.
No. If the tenant complains and says, hey, I got mold over here, or the place is unsafe, and they complain to the city, that would trigger an inspection by code enforcement, I assume.
Correct.
Okay. That would seem to me like a lot less expensive alternative, or a lot less expensive way to go.
We just don't have the staffing for that, sir.
Well, you have code enforcement. I mean, you may have to hire, one or two more people, but $1 million a year sounds like a lot of money and a lot more people on your staff. So anyway, that's just my thought. I think there may be a less expensive way for the city to do this thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Okay. Councilmember Tonneson?
Wow. That was a lot, Jeremy. So the county stops paying us. This county stops doing this. Do they pay us for what they stop doing?
It's just like a lot of issues we have in legislation and stuff, no.
And then, how are the fees enforced? So is it gonna go to a vote? How do we get this on the?
So we'll adopt a resolution and an ordinance. It'll be a brand new ordinance that will spell all the details out. I really try to summarize. There'll be a lot of details spelled out in an ordinance and a resolution, and a lot of it.
Yeah. I'm trying to condense this. So is it akin to when fire started doing inspections several years back? I think Chief Tony was here then. Is it akin to that, where we're just going to start doing these inspections on these commercial properties?
I can't speak for the fire program, but this would be an inspection program, yes. But this would also help already complaints that are coming in with the lower number of staffing that we have. So we're already trying to address these issues, but we're looking for additional ways of improving our service to the community. And with the lack of funding, we can't meet the community's needs. So I'm hoping this idea will help foster a bridge of lack of services provided in Fairfield and the underserved community, especially the east side of town. If you've visited any of their apartments, I've seen missing windows, walls looking to fall down. There's so much.
There's no question. There's depreciated maintenance.
Yeah.
Did you have something for me? No? So what would you, I would rather, if this happens, I would certainly rather see it be collected through the county, through the tax bill. You're gonna upset a lot of landlords at first. Yeah.
So this will equate to about $11.40. If this cost were to be passed down, it would equate to about $11.40 increase if businesses were to pass this down to their consumer.
I get all that. It's just announcing to the city, hey, 10,000 of you are going to have to start paying a fee that you never paid before, you know, and that part I get. Just a suggestion, you know, you could start meeting with some property managers. They're going to have, you know, all the rental properties. You know, grab some partners that can help you with these things. And like Mr. Takeuchi said, is there tenant reporting? So if they're under this program and the tenant says, hey man, this guy lives in another state, another country, he never comes out here, I've got mold, I've got, you know, my roof's go blah, blah, blah. So this might help with something like that too, because they have direct access to you. So it could help the renters themselves.
I also look at it as improving police and community relationships. They're going to see more of us code enforcement. So kind of like our old crime-free multi-housing program, this is more of a hybrid to that, where they're going to see more contact with us in code enforcement, which will bridge relationships. Oh, I see.
Yes. And then just last question, Will. So you're going to hire additional code enforcement officers. That's the plan. Will those code enforcement officers be specific to this program, or will they have citywide functions?
So my goal will be starting up in training and investing into them to get this program launched. But the idea is once we get it off and running in the next few years, is they would do all sorts of code matters. So they're a code enforcement officer. They could respond to any code enforcement related issue, but we would want it to launch something this big. Say I'm going to dedicate 4 full-time so we can launch this, and then that will reduce the numbers as we get through this, and then we could say, now I have 8 total code enforcement officers to respond to 120,000 potential customers.
Thank you, sir. Good presentation.
Thank you.
Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Jeremy, thank you. This is we've seen this a few times, iterations of it, and it's obvious that you've put a lot of thought and a lot of work into this, so thank you. What I like about this program is that, well, amongst many things, is that it pays for itself. But in that same vein, in some of these questions I may have asked before, but specifically this question I may have asked before, it's about the ramp up and making sure that the ramp up is at the same pace as us bringing in the funds. So that way we don't have staff sitting on their hands, waiting for systems to come online, waiting to learn what to do, that type of thing. And then I have some more questions, but that's one.
So that's a very good question. So just like anything in code enforcement, if they have never been in the field and we just hired them on, or if they have been in the field, it would be doing initial training to get them to be code enforcement officers. They could respond immediately to code enforcement concerns in the city as we're trying to put this together, if that makes sense. So they would be a service to the community right away. We would have to build this, take one bite of the elephant at a time, for a lack of terminology. Is it is going to be, to do it right and to serve the community right, we got to take steps. So my goal is we pass a resolution and ordinance and give our businesses about a year before they're going to have to start making a first payment. So you say this is being super proactive. You say we could get this on board by the beginning of next year, the resolution and ordinance. I would be able to give them a year by next December that we would start talking about putting things on tax rolls. So usually I think you have to have things on tax rolls by August, so next August. So not 2026, 2027 is potentially when we'll start collecting things through tax rolls. So there will be an investment by the city up front, but eventually that will start working itself out if we go that direction. But in the meantime, those staffing will be immediately put to work. I'm sure we communicate consistently with you all. You guys give me plenty of work. There's plenty of work that we could put them to the streets to improve Fairfield's quality of life.
Thank you. And so, as we talk about collection of fees, how efficient is the city of Fairfield in collecting fees that may be kind of similar to this? Could we be stuck because we're not good at collecting?
So I think by putting it into an ordinance and a resolution, crafting things and looking at some of these cities and applying it to the tax roll is the more guaranteed way to collect that, because then we have legal options working with Dave and Lim to pursue those non-collections. And most of these are all business operators, right? So they're paying taxes. The ones that we struggle with, and I'll be quite frank, is in code enforcement with admin citations. Folks that are just getting by and floating and don't pay taxes, you can't collect from those individuals. These are active businesses that we're going to be trying to hold accountable and improve housing. So can I tell you a percentage? I can't, but talking to other cities, their recovery rate, especially through tax rolls, is very high from recovery, but I'm not going to tell you 100% because there's going to be some fight that we will have to put into this to pursue this. But I think a resolution and crafting the legal stuff that we deal with in black and white will give Mr. Lim and his team leverage to pursue. And that's why I put a buffer in there for legal fees, to know in the beginning there might be some turmoil, but we'll get through it.
Thank you. And you just backed into my last question. I really like in your fee schedule survey how you list other cities that have this program. To me, that means you have a lot of code enforcement mentors in other cities. And I just want to confirm that you will lean on these other programs that have already launched. They already have best practices. They already have documented what they have done during this ramp-up period so that we can borrow, learn, and be able to get this going fast.
So my goal with that is, if we get approval to move forward, would be I've identified 2 staff to start going to these cities and doing like sit-alongs. So a code enforcement officer and our finance analyst, admin analyst, to also go out there to talk about more of the details behind the scenes and really go to those best practices. So Sac County, a lot of Sacramento cities have strong programs. Hayward has been doing this for over 25 years. So we're kind of late to the game in this program. I didn't want to go into that, but we are late to the game. There is good standard practices. The county of Sacramento County, they manage their entire code enforcement unit, which is 20 plus officers, just by their rental housing program. Offsets. This is cost recovery. This offsets the cost recovery for staffing and equipment is the goal for this program.
And I'll just add, this first came up at your council retreat earlier this year, back in January, and at that time you had all asked, well, maybe there's some council members from some of these other cities that you all would like to talk with. And so I had set up a meeting with a council member from Rancho Cordova and the mayor and vice mayor. We joined on a Zoom for, it was probably an hour and a half, and I thought it was a pretty good conversation. I don't want to put any words in the vice mayor's mouth, but certainly I think that was a positive meeting in terms of from a council perspective, understanding how they see the effectiveness of the program in their community.
And yes, that was a great meeting and very informative, and it's a very innovative way to get this plus more done in the community, Jeremy, like you're talking about. It's not just about, the code enforcement, it's about building relationships, and it's about really going into situations where we can lend a helping hand to folks who are otherwise powerless. And so those are just the collateral benefits of the code enforcement. And I agree that we need more code enforcement, 100%. So I'm sorry, Councilmember Williams, were you done?
One small tiny
Please.
point. And Jeremy, toward the end of your presentation, you mentioned about community education and engagement early. I love that.
Yes.
So I'm finished.
Thank you. Councilmember Panduro?
Thank you. So I went and looked at some of the other cities, like I was on the Modesto website and then on the, I think, Berkeley. And I found it interesting, so I'm just wondering, it's just a question, because I saw that some of them, like, I think one of them has the program underneath, like, economic development, and another one has it, like, under housing. So is it typical do the majority of the cities have this program under the, like, PD under code enforcement, or is it more abnormal for it to be here versus, like, under housing or economic development?
Looking through there is a variety of places that code is housed in, so it really just depends on how the city views that. I think the golden I'm horrible with sayings, but the golden ticket to this is being in the police department, we could help bridge these relationships and foster better communities. So we have those assets at our hands, working with police, with tons of calls for service in these locations, so we could help bridge that relationship. Oh, code enforcement officer such and such, and they see us as people and not as just the cop that's in the town or code enforcement. So I see the asset of us being in code enforcement stronger, but it really depends on how the city looks at it. SAC is in the sheriff's department, SAC County, and then there's some other places. Concord, I believe, is in economic development, or it just really depends where they house code enforcement. But code enforcement seems to be an ongoing theme of who manages the program. It's just, it falls in economic development, or building is another place too.
Okay, thank you. And I just wanted to make comments. So it's no secret that my district is one of a hot area for these kinds of situations. I'm a renter, and I've lived where I live now. I'm grateful that I have a good property manager, but I've spoken to so many constituents where they're afraid to go and say something for whatever reason. Whether it's in this role, I've worked for state reps, assembly and senate, and they would come into my office because they didn't know where else to go to get help. There was mold, there was broken windows, and I mean, at the state level, that wasn't our purview, so I would have to just send them to like the city or give them like their tenant rights, because it was something that I could technically like help with. That was my job, but like I try to give them in the right situation, in the right resource, but at the same time, having this type of program, I think would really help in those situations where folks might be afraid to say something and they're living in these substandard conditions because they don't have another choice. And so I appreciate what this program does, because we all think we can just call code, but it's not so simple as that for a lot of our communities. A lot of the people that might have a language barrier. They're not as confident to go. They don't know how to do it. They don't know where to go. And I also want to just talk about also like rental homes. I've heard a lot of my constituents also talk about the status of our neighborhoods, right? And a lot of the older neighborhoods, and they don't talk about them in positive lights because of the people that there's, like the picture that you showed, right? There's these instances where these homeowners or rental owners are not taking care of their property because they don't own it, and so the care is not there as much, and it brings down the neighborhood. And I think being able to have a way to find a way to elevate the neighborhood in this manner, I think would make a big difference in the way that people feel in their home and feel in the pride they have in their neighborhood. So I think this is a really great pathway to that. So thank you.
I think just to echo on that, we get so many calls from property management groups, they don't even know what to do. So even when people realize there's a bad situation, they don't know where to turn to, what government agency falls under what. So hopefully this will also help educate the community. If you have X, Y, and Z issues, we'll have an educational page, plus this is how you can report those issues. Mm-hmm.
Councilmember Sandu, did you have anything to add?
Nothing to add too much, Madam Vice Mayor. Mr. Prophet, thank you for your presentation. I know we've been talking about this this challenge for the past few months, so it's nice to see it taking the steps to move forward. So thank you. Okay, and Jeremy, do you need any specific form of direction from us at this point?
I think it's just, we'd like you to move forward with crafting the ordinance and resolution. And I don't know do we need to have a discussion about pushing forward with staffing or wait till the resolution?
I think if your direction is to start to put the ordinance together and come back with all of the final program details, because, right, I mean, a lot of the devils are in the details in these types of programs, and so coming back with that ordinance language, and then at that time, what we can also do is we can put together a full operational staffing plan to identify for you how this will roll out and the engagement and all of those components. So if that's the direction you want to give us, we'll happily take that, and then we'll get back to you when we are able to put everything together.
Council, is the general consensus to move forward with crafting a future ordinance for our future consideration? Looks like I have positive thumbs up there. There's your direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
And we will move now to item L2. Madam Clerk?
Yes, item L2.
Madam Vice Mayor, sorry if I may. I think I'm gonna have to hop off now. It's getting a little late here on the East Coast.
Okay, have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item
Madam Vice
L2,
Mayor.
please.
Good night, guys.
L2, Resolution 2025-191, revised joint exercise of powers agreement for emergency ambulance services, authorizing the city manager to sign a revised joint exercise of powers agreement for the provision and management of emergency ambulance services. And our presenter is City Manager David Gasaway.
And Madam Vice Mayor, just a quick reminder, you now are at quorum with 4, so if anyone needs to use the restroom or take a break, I recommend you just take a break before you restart.
But we're, but we're back to voting again on the,
Oh, yes, you can now, you don't need a roll call anymore, yes, correct.
Somebody likes his new iPad, I see.
He just likes being first to make the motion.
Right. Okay, let's push forward right now.
Yeah, thank you very much. I will be quite brief on this. This is a topic that we've been talking about quite a bit for the last couple of years now. So you will all remember in December of 2023, the City Council authorized us to form a joint exercise of powers agreement with partner agencies across Solano County for the purpose of bidding on the emergency ambulance service contract through the Solano Emergency Medical Services Cooperative. So you had previously approved a JEPA document, and since that time there's been some changes to the organizational structure, as well as some continuing and ongoing negotiations with some of our other city partners, with the Solano County representing first the East Vallejo Fire Protection District, as well as the city of Vallejo. And so before you tonight, this item is an update to that JEPA document based on those additional negotiations, and I'll just cover at a very high level in your staff report. I provided a red line version so that you could see exactly what the contractual changes were in that document. And so it eliminates special fire districts. All of the fire districts are now represented by the County Board of Supervisors. County Board of Supervisors previously only oversaw the East Vallejo Fire Protection District. There was some questions that their legal counsel has had on this. There's some provisions that we have made modifications to, but up until basically the publication of this agenda, they did not want to enter into this. City of Vallejo had asked to be included. They were the only city who never ratified the original JEPA document. And had some concerns that they had raised. We tried to address those concerns through negotiations. They've asked to be included in the JEPA document that's revised before you tonight so that they are able to consider weighing their potential partnership within the JEPA. We changed the executive committee. So originally in the JEPA, the executive committee was formed from the fire chiefs of all of the cities, as well as one representative representing all of the special fire districts. That's been modified. It'll now be the city managers of each of the cities, and there would be the creation of a technical advisory committee that would be the fire chiefs. There are some changes to the provisions of reserve funds and reserve targets. Originally, it was a dollar amount specific. As we continued to analyze this program in partnership with our consultants of AP Triton, as well as our subcontractors, Medic Ambulance, we determined that in order to create the greatest protection for all of the agencies and sort of keep the JEPA together in the best way possible, that there would be a target of 6 months operating funds. There was also a modification to the termination clauses of the for each of the member agencies. Originally, I think it was 180 days or 6 months. Now it's going to be 18 months notification. So if any city wanted to exit the JEPA, they would have to give essentially a 1.5 year notice so that there's time for any adjustments in that. And then finally, there was some increase in the administrative fee as we further analyzed what the costs for Fairfield, being the managing partner of the JEPA, having the subcontract with Medic Ambulance, and hopefully being successful on the contract with the SEMSC for the overall ambulance program across the county. we increased those costs. We also added some provisions at the request of a couple of the other cities that any costs for startup, we would have to demonstrate those costs. It would just be direct costs that we could invoice to the future JEPA organization or to the future funding mechanism in order to recoup those costs for the city of Fairfield for being that managing partner. And then the last thing, because there weren't all of the jurisdictions that were originally a part of the JEPA previously, effectively the JEPA never became a binding document because there were two agencies that had never joined on and ratified it at their governing bodies. So we did add language now that basically says if it's a severability clause the city attorney's office helped us with. So if 60 days after we are awarded a contract or the contract goes into place, if an agency hasn't adopted the JEPA, then any agencies that have adopted the JEPA, it effectively ratifies with those agencies that's governing bodies have adopted the JEPA. So far, City of Rio Vista has approved the amended JEPA and had some flexibility given to their city manager in order to make any final minor modifications that might be needed. We are still open to the conversation with all of the fire districts. It has been our intent and our interest since the very beginning of this endeavor, going on 3 years ago now, that this would be a county-wide, all-agency, inclusive process so that we could implement the alliance model for the emergency medical transport system. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Do we have any speaker cards on this issue?
No, I do not.
Okay. Questions from the council? All right. Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2025-191. I'll entertain a motion. Oh, we're back to the computer. Okay. Got it.
Okay, I opened it for... Okay, and now I will open it to vote. Okay, thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Item L3, please.
L3, Resolution 2025-192, Emergency Medical Services Billing Services Tentative Agreement, approving a tentative agreement with Whitman Enterprises, LLC, to become the City of Fairfield subcontractor for ambulance and first responder fee billing services for the response to Solano County request for proposal for exclusive operating area rights for medical transport services. And our presenter is Donnie Byro, Battalion Chief. Did I say your last name right?
Bureau.
Oh, Bureau, sorry.
No problem.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Vice Mayor and members of the council. I'm here presenting tonight on the ambulance billing and first responder fee contract. This is one more piece of the larger 2025 EMS project that staff has been working on for several years. As City Manager Gasaway just talked about, the JEPA was another one of those pieces. So there's a multitude of things that go in with this. I came to council in December of 2024 last year with a tentative agreement with the City of Fairfield and Medic Ambulance working together as our subcontractor to be able to bid on the ambulance RFP that is put out by the Solano Emergency Medical Services Cooperative. That RFP was released this year on July 10th. A couple days later, it got pulled back by Solano EMS to make some updates and was re-released on July 24th. Fairfield staff, Medic Ambulance, and AP Triton, which is our consultant for the City of Fairfield, been currently working on this proposal, which is due October 10th. So it's a tight time frame. It was released on July 24th, and our proposal is due on October 10th. This proposal for the ambulance contract can include up to 400 pages, along with over approximately 1,000 pages of appendices for supporting documents. So there's a lot of work that goes into this. One of those aspects that have to be part of this proposal is having an ambulance billing subcontractor in place. In an effort for the staff to be be fair and transparent, we conducted a publicly available request for qualifications to provide ambulance and first responder billing services. This was released on July 28th and closed on August 5th. During that time, we received 5 proposals from 5 different companies. Staff evaluated based off of the 5 things that you're seeing up on the screen. These were also stated in the RFQ process that they would be evaluated off these items, which is demonstrating EMS billing experience, technical capabilities and reporting, cost effectiveness, customer service support, and compliance and data security. A couple of those proposals that we received, one was out of state, did not have experience in California, so they did not meet our evaluation. Another one had very limited experience in California. 3 of them met all 5 up there at just different varying levels. Staff went through all proposals that were submitted in great detail, and we identified Whitman Enterprises, which is EMS MC, as our recommending billing company. They were notified on August 20th. All their 4 companies were notified that same day on August 20th that we would be recommending Whitman Enterprises. Why Whitman? They have 34 years of experience as a California-based EMS billing provider, extensive fire service and EMS billing experience. As I stated, when we came into the tentative agreement with Medic Ambulance, that's what's considered the alliance model, where you have a public agency as a bidding party with a private ambulance as a subcontractor. Whitman has experience doing this in such cities as the city of San Diego, Sacramento Metropolitan Fire, and the Sonoma Fire Protection District, just to name a few. They have experience billing with these type of alliance models. They had one of the most competitive rates at 2.99 net collections, and they partner with over 130 public agencies this year in California. One of those agencies being the city of Vacaville, our next door neighbor, for a couple decades, which has been very pleased with their service. Lastly, they have a strong PPGMT experience. PPGMT funds are funds that come off of Medi-Cal transports. They're additional funds that are only available to the public agencies. So if we were awarded this contract, those additional funds come in, they have to go back into the system. So that may be something as a consolidated dispatch going forward or improved EMS equipment. So with those reasons that we're presenting tonight, we're recommending Whitman and seeking council's approval of the tentative agreement. And is there any questions?
Thank you for a very concise report, Battalion Chief. Much appreciated. Do we have any speaker cards on this issue?
I do not. Did anyone wish? Oh, sorry. James Pearson?
Council members, good night. Jimmy Pearson, President and COO of Medic Ambulance. I'm just here to speak a couple words. We have a long-standing relationship with the city of Fairfield, respect everybody we've worked with, and still respect, and obviously have a big process still in front of us. But I do have an issue with the transparency used a couple of times through here, because I don't think a 9-day RFQ process for a multi-million-dollar award is transparent. A full, concise, detailed RFP process with clear review processes and who you're talking to and who's making that decision should be done. We're a 46-year local billing vendor. I know Whitman, good people. I'm not here to talk about any other vendors, who we focus on ourselves. There were issues, but there was no clarification process. It just was rushed. And we had a lot of time to get to this point. We didn't, we had our agreement done in December. We currently do the first responder billing for the city of Fairfield right now. So there's a long-standing history, and it was just rushed. And I think for me, as a local business that has the billing office 4 blocks away from here, that invested in the downtown plan, that is a local business, I just don't like the lack of transparency, and I think it needs to be called out. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other speakers at this time? Okay, then I will bring it back to the council for discussion. Any comments? Councilmember Tonneson.
Yeah, Madam Vice Mayor. It does seem like a short period of time. I would like to propose no, we're not making any motions yet, but I'd like to propose an alternative action to, let's go out for the RFQ process again. So reject all the bids, go out for RFP process again with some points for being local. Maybe change up the time frame. I don't know what a reasonable time frame is, but I would like to see us reject all and go out for a new RFQs.
Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So I agree. I would like to see this be a local company. In my day job, I go after RFPs, have not won those that were local and outside of the county or state has been picked. I have an adverse reaction to that. This is a lot of money, and for it to be fed into a company that's not based local. This organization, MEDIC, they do a lot of local community work. And I have a story that I've never told them or anyone else in the community. It was late last year. I was at Ryan's Cafe doing a little bit of work and was talking about medical billing because that's a revenue source in my company. And so I was talking out loud and talking about medical billing. And so someone that worked there said, "Hey, I do medical billing." And I'm like, "Oh, can I hire you?" And they were like, "Actually, this is our last day at Ryan's Cafe. We're going back to work for MEDIC." And they talked about, and I said, "Really, why?" Because I wanted to hire her. And so she was like, "They taught me everything I know, and it feels like I'm part of a family, and I love how they train." Like, she went on and on. She listed it, and she's like, "And I left, and I'm going back." So this is now half a year back in front of us, and that's why I would like to pull this RFP back and back to the city.
Thank you. Councilmember Panduro, anything?
I guess my questions are just around the timing. Because I know if it was a quick process then, would the process still be, the period be longer, the same, with regards to if you were to put out another RFP, starting over again? How my
This is
colleagues
an
are
RFQ,
suggesting.
just for
RFQ,
clarification, this
sorry.
is, so this is an RFQ request for qualifications. An RFP traditionally is more detailed and does take longer. Those timelines, I'm not exactly sure how long those would look, but that could take longer than this process, yes, if we did an RFP process for billing.
I guess I meant with the RFQ, because my colleagues are suggesting to start over again, correct? And
How
so
long
I'm
would-
asking if we would be able to meet the deadline with the RFQ.
To have a new billing provider in place by October 10th? No.
I think what we would need to do is probably bring back to you all some form of interim agreement. As Mr. Pearson pointed out, MEDIC is currently the billing provider for their contract to provide this service countywide under the existing contract with the SEMSC. And so, what we would need to do is bring back some form of interim agreement, since they are our partner in moving forward under the JEPA and the Alliance model and going in on the bid, and likely have a contract under a revised, if council's direction is to go more of a comprehensive RFP process, that will take us some time. And put that out here in the, probably after October 10th, and come back later this year then with the results of that process and provide, some form of interim agreement for MEDIC to provide that service for some defined time period. say through 2026, if we're successful on the bid on the SEMSC, I think that's the start time on that, Donnie, correct me if I'm wrong, sometime around May, if we're awarded that contract.
Yeah, as right now, it's scheduled to start, that contract would get May 1st of 2026.
Yeah. And so I don't think what we would want to do is, try to concurrently change that. So it would probably, look to be some form of, maybe end of 2026 then, or beginning of 2027 is when, any new contract specifically for those services, to where through the transition of us, hopefully, right, succeeding on the SEMSC bid process, we make the transition to taking over that service countywide, and then, after end of 2026, then we would transition the medical billing if there was a change in subcontractor.
So it's doable.
It's absolutely doable. I think from a timing perspective, we're not going to be able to do it before October 10th when our bid is due. So what we would need to do is we would need to provide some sort of interim contract. My recommendation would be to do that with Medic, since they're already providing that service, and then go back out with a competitive process, based on the council's direction to pull back the RFQ, and redo the RFP process with more time, more parameters. I heard some points for local preference, those types of things. That we can absolutely do all of that. We can't do that before October 10th.
So then would we make a motion to that effect? It's an action item?
I would recommend that you make a motion to reject all bids and return this item to staff for a revised RFQ consistent with your direction tonight, if that's what you want to do.
I make a motion to do exactly what you said, reject all bids.
I'm going to, just for a point of clarification, Councilmember Williams, you had a question before the motion, so let's take her question and then your motion. Is that okay? All right.
So my question is surrounding this, this standing contract. I don't know what it would be called, just this contract that we would do with Medic for now, until we go back through the process. Would it match this 2.99%?
I think that's a question. I see Mr. Pearson nodding yes. So yeah, they would match that percentage in the interim.
Okay. Okay, Councilmember Tonneson, your motion?
I make the motion to reject all the bids and come back with a new RFQ with local preference. And is that what I'm motioning, Mr. City Attorney?
It's fine
That's
with
my
me.
motion. Oh, we're doing it on here.
What you need in terms of direction?
No, we're not going to do it because it's a different, you'd be voting on a completely different.
That was my motion.
Yeah. So I'll just make note of it for the minutes.
Vice Mayor, I'll second.
Okay, so the motion to approve Resolution 2025-192 is pending and seconded. So let's have...
No. They're
Madam
not
Vice
making
Mayor.
a motion on the resolution. I'm sorry, Madam Vice Mayor. You're not making a motion on the resolution. You're doing an alternative motion rejecting all bids, which in essence infers that you are rejecting Resolution 2025-192. But you don't need to take action on resolution ending in 192. You're just rejecting all bids.
Oh, okay. I did not realize that. All right. So the alternative motion is made and pending and ready for a vote, which we're not going to do on the computer.
Do you have a second?
Yes, Councilmember Williams.
Thank you.
Madam Vice Mayor, can I ask a question? Just for
Yes, sir.
clarification, are you asking staff to go and redo, an RFQ process again or an RFP process for this?
I don't know.
Sounds like RFQ.
Was it an RFP?
I heard the motion as an RFQ. I wrote it down.
Okay.
And you said RFQ.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, let's vote manually. Do we need to do a roll call?
No.
Okay.
You can do roll
Aye.
call, it's probably easier.
Yeah, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm lost. Okay, so are we now voting to reject?
We're voting on the pending motion made by Councilmember Tonneson to reject. Yeah.
Oh, got
Okay. So all those in favor of Councilmember Tonneson's motion?
Aye.
Yes. That's unanimous. 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item L4, Resolution 2025-193, potential ballot measures for the transaction and use tax, sales tax rate increase, approving an agreement with Probalski Research and William Berry Campaigns for consulting services to assist with public engagement, community outreach, and messaging for potential ballot measures for the transaction and use tax, sales tax rate increase. And our presenter is our Assistant City Manager, Farbode Perusmond.
Excuse me. Try it again. Good evening, Madam Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. And we're bringing back an item to you from actually a presentation that the former Assistant City Manager made in on May 6th, regarding a potential for getting some feedback from residents and stakeholders in the community regarding a potential increase in sales tax. So since then, we have put together an RFP process. We've put that RFP out. We received 5 bids, and actually at the time, the mayor also created an ad hoc committee with some of the members of the City Council, Councilmember Williams, Councilmember Tonneson, and Councilmember Panduro. So we went through that process with the council members. We actually met with the finalists, interviewed them, and collectively decided on Probalski and William Berry Campaigns. So tonight we're asking for a resolution to permit the city manager to enter into an agreement with this group. We have already started some preliminary work, but waiting to get approval for this contract to be able to go out there and do a statistically viable survey of our residents to see if they would be potentially supportive of a revenue measure on the ballot. And I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any public speaker comments on this issue?
I don't have any cards. Did anyone wish to speak on this item? No. Okay.
Okay, so let's bring it back for council consideration. Any comments, colleagues, on this? Okay.
I'll make a comment.
Okay.
Just in general, we had, 4 candidates, 5.
5.
We had 5 candidates. And as a part of the committee, one of the, I think we chose the team that we feel is going to be the best partner in moving forward with this. So I just want to thank Farbode for taking the time and for helping set up all those meetings and the presentations. I think it was a fair process in choosing this group. So thank you.
Okay. Seeing no other comments, let me entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2025-1.
Is there any public comment on this item?
I already asked.
Oh, sorry, my apologies.
And the mayor,
My
or
apologies.
Vice Mayor, Vice Mayor asked as well.
Yeah, it's not often that you get to correct David Gasaway, so that was kind of fun, actually. Yeah, I had that covered, David, thanks. So anyway, okay, here we go. We're voting now on the pending resolution.
We'll close the vote. 4-0.
All right, thank you. Last item for tonight is item M1, public hearing.
Okay, item M1, Resolution 2025-194, fiscal year 2024 to 2025 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Program Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, approving the submission of the fiscal year 2024 to 2025 Community Development Block Grant Program Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, and authorizing the city manager to execute any agreements or documents requested by HUD. And our presenter is LaTanya Terrones, Housing Project Manager.
Good morning, Vice Mayor, or not good morning, good evening. It's been a long day. Good evening. Thank you all for your time this evening. So I'll just be really brief before you. So I'm bringing before you the CDBG Consolidated Plan, which is our annual report where we will report our progress for the fiscal year 24-25. And so the goal of the CDBG program, just as a quick reminder, is to provide decent housing, a suitable living environment, and expanded economic opportunities. The CAPER reports out to HUD and to the community the goals and outcomes of the CDBG program. It's based on the last program year, and it's associated with the 5-year goals that we set forth in our consolidated plan, which came before you back in May of 2022, I believe. The projects and funding associated with this CAPER is based upon projects approved by this council in May of 2024 during the annual action plan process. The city is required to submit the CAPER to report their annual progress to HUD 90 days after the end of the fiscal year. So this document is due to HUD no later than September 28th, the 2025. And so just really briefly how we allocate. So we receive an annual entitlement for the CDBG program. And so 15% of that, there's a cap of 15% of that annual entitlement that can go towards public services, which would be your services that support nonprofit organizations that support direct services to clients. 20% of that funding is utilized for program admin. And then the remaining 65% of that funding can go towards public facilities, infrastructure, anything that's not public service or program admin. And so here's a chart that just kind of shows the progress that we've had for the projects that were funded during fiscal year 24-25. And so we had 3 different projects that were geared towards seniors, 2 that were geared towards youth. We have 2 public facilities projects that are currently in progress that Public Works is working on. We also have a project that we brought forward earlier this year that is a multifamily rehabilitation project, which will that is currently also in process, which will preserve 100 units of affordable housing. In addition, we have our CDBG admin. Outside of our annual entitlement grant, we also have our housing revolving loan fund, which are prior year funds that were set aside to support housing rehabilitation for low-income homeowners as well. And so one of the main compliance measures for the CDBG program, it has to do with timeliness. So timeliness is a performance measure that requires for the CDBG funds to be utilized. It ensures that the city is spending money and not just letting it build up. So the city cannot have more than 1.5, so 1.5 times its annual grant, and it's on hand by May 2nd of every year. So the good part with the city of Fairfield, for the last 5 years, we have been consistently compliant and meeting this timeliness test with HUD. We are one of the only cities in the region that have consistently met this compliance requirement. This is one of the main compliance requirements that we have outside of ensuring that we are doing the program in compliance with all of the regulations. And so with that, we ask that you open a public hearing and also to approve this resolution so that we may be able to submit our CAPER to HUD. Any questions?
Thank you very much. I'll open the public hearing. Do we have any speakers on this item?
I do not. Did anyone wish to speak on this item? Okay.
Okay, seeing none, close the public hearing, bring it back to the City Council to entertain a motion or discussion.
I just have one question. Are we about the same as last time? Is this pretty consistent every year? I know it seems to jump, so the amount that's available, is it similar to last year?
Yes, so we never know what we're going to get, but yes, so it was pretty close to the same amount. I don't know the numbers. I think it's
Have there been
830.
years when it's like $1 million?
It hasn't been since I've been here. However, what it is that we get our annual entitlement amount that we get on an annual basis, but there are times where maybe from prior years, a project didn't spend all of their funds. So HUD doesn't take it, we just get to reallocate it towards other projects. But we have 5 years to make sure we're able to spend any funds that are allocated to us.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Then I will entertain a motion to approve Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2025-194.
Now I'll open it to voting. And it's 4-0, and now I'll close the vote.
Thank you.
All right. We have no other business before us this evening, and I will close this meeting, and we'll be back on October 21st. And don't forget National Night Out. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice evening. Yes.